Hello, 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 my loves. As always, I hope that this live or this replay finds you well and in excellent spirits. Happy Monday, and welcome to another edition of the weekly Astro Forecast live here in the Astro Room on YouTube. I am your host and your favorite astrologer, Mel of Divine Feminine Works, where I help people unlock their divinity and discover their magic. So, if this is our first time meeting, welcome. And as always, if you are returning, welcome back. So this channel is everything astrology, spirituality, and manifestation. So if those are the things you like, if those are the things you love, or if those are the things you want to learn more about, don't forget to hit that subscribe button as well as that notification bell so you'll always be notified when I come out with new content. All right, my loves. So again, happy Monday. And this is the weekly astro forecast for the week of September 29th through October 5th, 2025. All right. So how are we feeling? So, astrologically speaking, there isn't too much going on this week. But what is going on is going to feel perhaps a little tense. You may feel like you're being pulled in two different directions, or perhaps you're sort of being put to the test a little bit. Okay, nothing too major, but you're still going to feel maybe a little resistance this week. All right, so forewarned is forearmed. But before I get into all of the details, of course, housekeeping and announcements. So if you are joining me here on the live this evening, thank you so much for tuning in. I sincerely appreciate you. Don't forget to say hello on your way in, as Patricia Jean has already done. And hit that like button on your way in as well. It is the best way to let the algorithm know that you like this content, so it'll disseminate it to other people who may like it as well. All right. And if you are joining me on the replay, I appreciate you just as much. Hopefully you get what you're looking for in this broadcast, whether it's illumination, enlightenment, confirmation, clarity. If you find it here, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe button, and notification bell. All right. So we have Scorpio Muse. Scorpio Muse. Hello, hello, hello. Thank you so much for joining this evening. All right, so by way of announcement, October is basically here, right? And so the October monthly forecast series is out. The first video dropped yesterday, the second video dropped today, and the third video will drop tomorrow. So between all three videos, you will know exactly what to expect and when to expect it during the month of October. All right, so the link to that playlist will be in the description box below. Check it out sooner rather than later so you can be fully prepared. All right. And I have a very special announcement, so you'll want to stay till the end. This live won't be too long, I promise. Stay till the end because I have a really special announcement that I really think that you are going to like. All right, so without further ado, let's get into the week. So like I said before, not too much going on this week. There's only really 3 transits, but really only 2 of them are really pertinent and important, okay? And like I said, you may feel like you're being pulled in 2 different directions. It is a week of oppositions. And oppositions are really an opportunity to strike balance in our lives. And what better time during the year than Libra season to strike balance, to achieve balance? That's everything that the universe wants us to do. And that's exactly what we're being tasked with doing this week. All right. And speaking of Libra, if you haven't checked it out already, check out my Libra season digital product to do. Too many buttons, not knowing what's going on. All right. So, in any event, the Libra key is interested. The link to that will be in the description box below. All right. And so, let's get into the theme for this week, which is big mouth energy. So, you're probably like, what the hell does that mean? So, one of the major transits this week is Mercury square Jupiter. Now, anytime you've got Jupiter in the mix, you've got abundance, you've got positivity, but The flip side of Jupiter is that it expands everything that it touches. And so when it comes to goodness, Jupiter expands that, which we all love. But when it comes to things that are not so good, Jupiter expands those things as well. And that's kind of what we have to look out for and watch for this week. Essentially, the energy this week is like maybe you are talking a big game, but you can't back it up. Maybe you're over exaggerating. Maybe you're over promising. Maybe you're overshooting in a certain area of life, right? This transit and the energy of this week sort of lends itself to big beginnings, big feelings, but maybe not necessarily the action or the discipline or the plan even to back it up. So, a lot of talking, a lot of communicating, just a lot of all of that. And you have to be careful because no one really likes when you overpromise and underdeliver, or when you talk a big game and you can't back it up. So that's something that we definitely all need to look out for. But it can also serve you as well, in the sense that sometimes you know how, especially in the case of like accountability partners, where you tell someone, okay, I'm embarking on this journey and I'm going to save $2,000. And for you, that's talking a big game because maybe you're someone who can't save 2 cents, right? But if you're able to sort of speak it into existence and understand what you need to bring it to fruition, and also to keep yourself accountable, that big mouth energy can actually serve you if you're willing to plant big seeds and take big actions to back it up. All right. So either way, that big mouth energy is something we definitely need to look out for this week. All right. And speaking of the week, let's get into exactly what this week comprises of. And of course, the first one is Mercury square Jupiter. Now, I don't want to say positive or negative because it's not necessarily, things just are. They aren't positive or negative necessarily. But on the one hand, you've got big ideas, bold words. But on the other hand, you have over exaggeration, over promising, over committing, right? So Jupiter is in its home sign of Cancer. And Jupiter, not home sign, it's in its sign of exaltation, meaning that it's the best possible place for Jupiter to be. And so Jupiter is being the most Jupiter it can be. It's so expansive, it's so plentiful. It's like having the most richest, most fertile soil where you can plant anything and it's guaranteed to grow, right? And so Jupiter in Cancer wants to initiate things, wants to plant new seeds of abundance, right? In the biggest way possible. And then we have Mercury that's currently in Libra. And Mercury in Libra wants to talk, wants to socialize, wants to communicate. Libra is the sign of relationships. So in our dealings with people, this may be a time where we are planting new seeds in a very big sort of way. Maybe we're starting something new and bringing people on board, or maybe we're just telling people what we're up to right now. And there's nothing wrong with that. But again, this particular transit lends itself to overpromising and underdelivering, and sort of doing the most, or promising the most, or planting these seeds that not only get people to, it's not only a verbal thing. Jupiter in Cancer, it's like big emotions as well. So, have you ever, okay, perfect example, and this literally just popped into my head. Have you ever been on a vacation and you have to do that little timeshare program, right? Maybe you get a free breakfast or you get free t-shirts or something, but you got to sit through this 90-minute presentation where they try to sell you this timeshare. You know how they try to capitalize on that euphoria, right? That sort of laid back, relaxed, happy feeling that you typically have when you're on vacation. Normally you'd be like, why would I buy a timeshare for a place I'm only going to visit like for a week, right? And they try to sell you on how you can rent out your weeks and all these things, but you just want the free shirt, the free food, you're on vacation, maybe you're already liquored up for the day, right? That euphoria, those big feelings. Think of this transit as that 90-minute timeshare presentation. Okay. It promises a lot, but in reality may not necessarily be the thing that you want. Later on down the road, it may be something that's just not useful to you, something that just isn't working, right? And so this is the energy that we're in. And so it may not even be the case that you're the one who's having this inception moment, right? It could be someone coming to you with an idea, someone trying to get you on board, right? Because Mercury in Libra, it's very much about teamwork, it's about collaboration. And depending on wherever Libra is in your natal chart, this could be with work, this could be in a relationship. Maybe you have a partner that's trying to sell you on a business idea and how this is going to be great, and the return on investment is going to be like 20% every year or something crazy. And it's like, whoa, this sounds like a lot. This sounds like, it feels really good, but again, it may not be the thing for you. And this really reminds me of when I was actively practicing law and I worked with a lot of entrepreneurs. I did entertainment law and I did business law. And so a lot of times I would be helping form businesses, right? And so this would be getting people their legal structure, but most importantly, drafting their operating agreement. And that's the agreement that basically details how the company is going to function and operate. And in the beginning, everyone is so excited about forming a company and they're so excited about working together, all the things that they're going to do. And so when they put this thing together, when they put this contract together, they're contemplating from a place of euphoria, of happiness, of hope and optimism, which is exactly the realm of Jupiter. And then time will go on. And once you start actually working in the business and with these people, and perhaps maybe you've never worked with these people before, much like any relationship, shit gets real. And that euphoria that you enjoyed when you first contemplated this thing and first put the contract together is not the same relationship that you currently find yourself in. And I say all that to say that that's perhaps how this transit may feel. It may feel like, yay, this is such a great idea. Oh my gosh, I'm so on board. This makes so much sense. And then 6 months down the road, you're like, why did I sign up for this? Why did I agree to this? So be mindful. And I would say the best way to handle this transit now is be realistic. Try to be as realistic as possible. Ask a lot of questions. Make sure that before you sign on the dotted line, before you agree to anything, you understand the ramifications of what this means. Try not to get caught up in the emotion of everything and the euphoria of what it feels like at the moment. Possibility is wonderful. Optimism, I believe, is necessary, but not to the detriment of your future. And it's not to be dramatic with this or to say that, things started at this time are necessarily going to fall apart later. But you just don't want to find yourself in a situation that seemed good at the moment and then later on is just not what you need. So keep that in mind as you're presented with things this week, as you are presenting things this week, as you are collaborating, as you are planting new seeds. That's definitely going to be a thing. Okay. And then the next and final transit that we'll talk about for this week, because like I said, this is a very short week, there's not much going on astrologically, is a pretty big one. And it's actually Venus opposite the North Node. Okay. So the North Node, anytime we talk about the North Node, it has to do with fate, with destiny, with where you are headed. We each have a North Node in our natal chart, which speaks to our personal trajectory, our personal North Star, if you will. And then we have the transiting North Node, which is sort of where we're all headed. Now, the North Node is currently in the sign of Pisces, and Pisces being the last sign of the zodiac, being very spiritual, ethereal, it really speaks to fate and destiny and wrapping up cycles, okay? Pisces is like, listen, I need you to get your spiritual self in order. I need you to get your inner world in order because we're about to go into a whole new cycle. And I'm trying to take you there, right? Now, when you've got Venus opposite the North Node, it's this push and pull between like your destiny and where you're headed and your personal desires, perhaps even your comfort. Venus is the ruler of Taurus, and Taurus loves comfort. Taurus loves luxury. Taurus loves feeling good. Venus is also the ruler of Libra. And keep in mind, we are currently in Libra season. Now, Venus in Libra operates differently than Venus in Taurus. Like I said, Venus in Taurus is like about material things, comfort, security. Venus in Libra wants peace and harmony. And this North Node in Pisces is saying, listen, I'm trying to take you, the universe is like, I'm trying to take you someplace, and it may be uncomfortable and it may ruffle some feathers. Are you willing to move beyond your comfort zone to go where you need to go? And this can feel overwhelming, right? Anytime we step out of our comfort zone, it can feel overwhelming. But like I said, Venus loves creature comforts. Venus loves equality, fairness, peace, harmony. Venus does not want to upset the apple cart. Venus doesn't want to feel uncomfortable. Venus doesn't want to feel insecure. And the North Node, stepping into your destiny, moving forward to where you are destined to go, where you're fated to go, where you need to go. It's not a comfortable thing at all. I mean, think about your own journey in spirituality. I'm pretty sure that if you're watching my videos, you're someone who's on a spiritual journey, and you may not even have recently begun your spiritual journey. But even if you have recently begun a spiritual journey, I'm here to tell you it's not love and light all the time. It is darkness, isolation. It can be fighting your demons. It can be standing apart from everything. It could be losing everything, right? It's not an easy thing. Sorry, my nose is itchy. It's not an easy thing by any means necessary. And that dynamic between wanting to be comfortable, wanting to be safe, not wanting to ruffle any feathers is in direct opposition to where it is that you need to go. Now, it's not to say that you're going to experience this real hardship, but it could be the case that you do. And by virtue of Venus being opposite the North Node, it means that it's conjunct the South Node currently in Virgo. Venus in Virgo is like the comforts, the equality that you enjoy on a daily basis, your comfortable habits, your routine, right? The practicality of your life that you have relied upon for so long. And Venus conjunct the South Node in Virgo is like some of those things you have to relinquish right now. And it's not going to feel comfortable. You're not doing it for no reason. You're doing it because you're moving in a new direction. North Node in Pisces is like, we're wrapping up a cycle. And in that wrapping up, there are certain things that you have to let go of, that you have to relinquish. You know, as I was preparing for this live, what came to mind was, you know, you're about to embark on a new journey and you got to pack light. You know, Venus wants to bring the whole 7-piece Louis Vuitton, you know, luggage set, have, you know, 6 different outfits for every day. And, you know, the North Node in Pisces may be saying, girl, I need you to pack a backpack. What are you doing with all this? You don't need 8 pairs of shoes. Sorry, my nose is so itchy right now. Sometimes when I start doing these things, it's like there's something like someone's putting a feather under my nose. So sorry if I keep touching my nose, but I can't help it. Yeah, Venus is like, you know, I need an outfit for every day. I need like 40 pairs of underwear. And North Node in Pisces is like, we're going backpacking. Whatever you can't fit in the backpack can't come with you. And then here's the thing, to take it a step further. This could be relationships. This could be certain people. It could be certain relationship dynamics. Certain things can't come with you on this trajectory. Certain ways, certain mannerisms, certain habits that you've been exhibiting in relationships are going to be unacceptable in this new chapter, in this new journey. Venus also rules money. So certain money habits, certain money mindsets, certain ways that you manage your money, because we're talking about Venus and Virgo right now. It's not going to work in this new chapter. And so you got to play this delicate balancing act this week when it comes to that. There could be some clarity in terms of actually where you're headed, right? But the North Node has been in Pisces for a little while, for almost about 6 months now, I believe. So at this point, you should kind of understand what's wrapping up, or at least what is changing, what karmic cycles are trying to end right now so that you can begin anew. And so you're tasked this week to find balance between, doing things the way that you've done them, and perhaps being open to something new. And that can feel a little uncomfortable because, again, Pisces North Node is like, all right, we're going out of our comfort zone and you got to just roll with the punches. Now, I know this isn't the most welcome news, especially after we just, like literally just last week, got out of eclipse season. We're still under the energy of the eclipse. So some of us are still in like eclipse hangover mode, right? And now you're telling me, oh, I still got to go out of my comfort zone and all this bullshit. Yeah, I'm not even going to sugarcoat it. Yes, you do. Now, I don't think it's necessarily going to be the hellscape that you're probably thinking it is, but it's going to require some intentionality. It's going to require some new habits. It may require some new mindset, right? Virgo is ruled by Mercury, and Mercury has a lot to do with our mindset. It has a lot to do, our habits begin in the mind. So, are you willing to change? Are you willing to relinquish certain things, especially things that you don't need anymore? The thing with Virgo is very ritualistic. And sometimes it's that sort of addiction to habit that will keep you in your comfort zone. You've been doing something for so long. It's like, well, why would I stop? Well, you're going to stop because it's like the law of diminishing returns. At one point, this thing really helped you or was really necessary. And now you don't get that much out of it. It's like you've squeezed all of the juice out of the orange. So it's time to throw it out and pick up a new one, right? So that being said, be willing to be flexible, to release, be willing to form new habits, be willing to move away from what's not serving you and allow the universe to guide you to where you're ultimately meant to go. And be willing to get out of your comfort zone. Okay. So, yeah, that's basically it in terms of the astrology. All right. So now we get to the portion that I call the Creator's Compass, where I basically just give you a strategy for the week depending on the particular astrology. And I like to break it down into like business and creative and personal development. All right. So, in terms of business and creative, so Mercury square Jupiter, like I said before, this is big mouth energy. This could be over promising and under delivering, but it's great for brainstorming, right? So, use it for that. It's also great for pitching to someone, right? If you have something that you are trying to start, if there is a seed that you are planting, this is the perfect time to do it. You just have to be mindful of the fact that you don't want to lead people on, nor do you want to paint a big picture that you ultimately can't fulfill. But if there was ever a time to pitch, if there was ever a time to persuade, if there was ever a time to assemble a team, now would be that time. All right, just be mindful of backing up whatever it is that you're promising. Okay. Then with Venus opposite the North Node, this is a great time to review relationships and a great time to review finances. And in the sense of business, work, and creative, it's like, all right, We've we signed on the dotted line a year ago. We've been working together for a year. Let's say it's a business collaboration, right? Is this really working for us? Is this in alignment with where I'm trying to go? Now, remember, Pisces is not only about karmic cycles, it's also about spirituality. And so, does this relationship align with where you're going spiritually? Does it align with your beliefs? Does it align with your creed, right? It's a great time to review that and, adjust as necessary. Maybe it may be time to renegotiate a contract. It may be time to maybe end a contract, terminate a contract. But either way, it's a great time to review that. It's also a great time to review money, right? And money habits, right? Are they aligned with your long-term vision? Is the money making sense? Pun intended, right? Are the money moves making sense, right? Or are you doing things for the sake of comfort? Are you doing things for the sake of the fact that you've been doing them for a long time? In business, relationships, and with money, this is the best time to really assess those things. So that's one way, or two ways, I should say, to use the energy this week with respect to that. Now, with respect to personal development and the astrology for this week, um, avoid saying yes to everything. there could be a lot of things, especially with Mercury square Jupiter. There could be a lot of things that entice you, a lot of things that sound good, a lot of ideas that could make sense, and you're envisioning what it could be like in the future, and you're caught up in the feel good energy. Take the time to think rationally, right? Apart from however you're feeling, and avoid saying no to everything. All right. Notice where pleasure might cost growth later. Okay. Especially with Venus opposite the North Node. Venus is the planet of pleasure, and remaining in pleasure for pleasure's sake could be um hindering you from growth and from your trajectory. Like I said before, you're embarking on a new journey, there's a new cycle, especially once we get into next year, once the North Node moves out of Pisces, it's like a complete cycle has wrapped up, and now we're on a different timeline, right? So, you know, pleasure that you feel right now could really throw a monkey wrench in this new timeline, right? It could even cause you to forego a new timeline. Perfect example of this is when you have relationships that hold you back. And I know we've all experienced this, or we've all witnessed this in other people's relationships, but like, certain people don't want you to progress. And they may not say it outright, but their actions or their snide remarks may make you think, oh, this person doesn't want me to progress. This person doesn't want me to lose weight. This person doesn't want me to move. This person doesn't want me to find somebody else, right? They could be holding you back from your destiny. That's one of the manifestations of this particular transit. And again, I'm talking about Venus opposite the North Node. Someone literally holds you back from your destiny. So, pleasure, complacency could literally cost you your future. So, take the time to think about that and try not to react too quickly, right? Take some time to assess the situation and act accordingly. All right. Lean into aligned connections and not just convenient ones. And this again speaks to Venus opposite the North Node. Um, with, I'll put it this way, and this may, this is just what comes to mind right now. You may be with somebody, and let's say this is in the romantic sense, right? You're in a romantic relationship, yet the universe is like, actually, this person over here is your person. And guess what? During this transit, you meet them. The universe is like, nah, this person over here, this is you. This is you all day. But you're like, "Ah, but I've been with him for like 10 years. The universe is like, well, girl, what are you trying to do? Are you trying to be on the right path, or are you just trying to be comfortable? Right? So, aligned connections could really be a part of this. So, don't shy away from the seemingly random conversation that pops up, random invites. I love when we have North Node transits because it's the universe injecting itself. It's the universe, moving chess pieces and giving you little surprises, right? The North Node, it's a long stretch, right? And it's not every day that, oh, everything that we're doing is fated and everything sort of aligns, but there are times during the journey where things fit like a glove, where they fit like pieces of a puzzle. And Venus opposite the North Node could literally be one of those times where the universe is like, boop, they drop somebody into your realm, into your reality that's supposed to be there, right? Yet, if you are attached to a connection that has run its course, or that isn't it, you feel it, you understand it, but you don't want to let go because you're comfortable, yeah, you're going to really feel that tension this week under this transit. So keep that in mind. Whatever transpires, be willing to lean into it. It's not to say that everyone who talks to you is going to be aligned. Like, there are just random conversations that are random for the sake of being random. However, if you meet someone who is aligned, oh, you'll feel it. You'll feel it. And then you'll be in this sort of seesaw kind of energy, like, do I stay? Do I go? What do I do? That's how you know you were in alignment in a way. So that should be really, really interesting. All right. So those are sort of your marching orders and your strategy for the astrology for this week. And now we have what I like to call the altar call, which is our journal prompt and our affirmation for the week. So first, let's get into our journal prompt. So that is, where am I talking a bigger game that I'm ready to back up? All right. So you'll want to screenshot this, you'll want to write this down. And this directly correlates to the theme, which is big mouth energy, right? And which correlates to Mercury square Jupiter, right? It's like overpromising and underdelivering. However, where are you ready to speak something into existence that you're ready to back up? Something that's big, something that may scare you a little bit, something that seems too good to be true, something that seems well past what you think you can do. This isn't about something that you hope but don't plan for. The purpose of this question is, where am I talking a bigger game that I'm ready to back up? And the best part is with this transit, Mercury square Jupiter, you can get people to help you with this because Mercury is still in Libra. So this means you have this big idea, this inception moment. And now you can call on people to help you bring it to fruition. You don't have to do this alone, right? But again, where am I talking a bigger game that I'm ready to back up? What do you want to birth? What do you want to nurture that's big, that you're ready to take the steps to bring into reality? Think about that this week. And maybe act on it. Maybe talk to somebody about it. Start planting those seeds via conversation and be willing to put in the work to bring it to fruition. All right. So that is our journal prompts. And then we have our affirmation, which is my words, desires, and actions align with my highest path. And I love this because we just talked about how you can really talk a big game this week, right? And so maybe because of the configuration of the astrology this week, you're talking a big game because you are meant to play a big game. You're meant to do things really big. The stirrings of your heart, your desires, your actions, your words, they're all coming into alignment with your highest path. So this is the affirmation that you want to focus on this week. So you can not only talk a big game, but you can back it up and understand that it's all part of a bigger picture of where the universe is trying to take you. And I love that. I really, really do. All right. So that's essentially the astrology for the week. Okay. And as promised, I want to announce something special that I am getting into for the month of October. Okay. And so let's see, where do I have this? Okay, here we go. All right. So, beginning on Wednesday, I am going to be doing a money and astrology series. It's actually a 31-day money and astrology series. So, I will be showing up on this channel every single day to help you understand how your natal chart can help you make more money, not only just make more money, understand your financial situation, and really get you on the right path when it comes to money. I'm so excited about this because I love giving you guys practical information that you can use. That is the essence of this channel. It's not astrology just to learn some phrases and jargons. It's about immediate information that you can use to better your life. And so we're all about money in the month of October. All right. So beginning on Wednesday, at 7 p.m. My first video will be dropping. I'll be premiering it at that time. So we're going to be talking about your abundance archetype. And this is the basic information on money in your natal chart. All right. I'm so excited about this because I've got some really great videos in the pipeline for you. And I promise, and by the end of October, you will know much more than perhaps you wanted to or needed to know about how your natal chart can really help you get your financial life in order, make sense of it, and do things that are in alignment with how you are designed to make money, save money, invest money, have businesses, all of those wonderful things. So again, this is premiering Wednesday night, October 1st at 7 p.m. So tune in at that time. I will be answering questions. So if you have questions during the video, we will be going through all of that. Not just that, but there's more. I'm also going to be doing a giveaway. So for those who sign up for the giveaway, and when you get people to sign and to subscribe to my channel, by the time we reach certain milestones, I will be giving away my free natal chart experience, which is called the Blueprint. This is more than just your basic natal chart reading. You not only get a natal chart, you get a private client portal with a bunch of resources, and you get a 30-day money making plan to help you use your particular information to help you make more money. All right, so you cannot lose with this. So this giveaway is going to be running all October. I will be talking about it till I'm blue in the face, so get used to it. But keep in mind, every day in October at 7 p.m., I will be premiering a new video all about money in your natal chart, and I'm so excited. And if you want even more, because there is more, then you will definitely want to join Cosmic Collective. Why? Because every week I will be going live answering questions and giving you a little bit of extra information all about the videos for that particular week. And you still get all of the wonderful things the Cosmic Collective has to provide, which is exclusive videos, resources, workshops, and a community of like-minded individuals who want to up their astrology game as well. So you'll not only get the videos here on YouTube, but if you join Cosmic Collective, you will get the live streams, extra resources, bonus material, and a whole lot more. Okay, so I'm telling you, October is about to be lit over here. So subscribe, set notifications, share videos, tell your friends, because again, October is going to be lit, and I'm so, so, so excited. So again, this all starts on Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern. I hope to see you there. I hope that you tune in, and I know that this information will be super helpful for you, and that you will walk away knowing so much more about money, astrology, and your natal chart. All right. And so that's all I got for y'all for this week. Hopefully, you guys got at least one important piece of information that you can use going into this week and beyond. Thank you so much for tuning in. I wish you nothing but the absolute best for this week. Hopefully, I will see you on Wednesday. And yeah, that's about it. Have a great week, y'all. See you.